The mice, the little bird, and the sausage. If passion drives you, let reason hold the reins. Benjamin Franklin. The cell phone rang loudly, and Darien answered the incoming call right away. "What in the everlasting hell is that picture you just posted on your profile?" Rick's voice was packed with extreme curiosity. "Since when are you dating someone officially and I don't know about it?" Before answering, Darien glanced at Sam, who remained lost in thought. He then walked to the other side of the room, smiling, and replied, "I'm following your advice with Samantha, big man. Don't tell me she's the gorgeous blonde that you ran over with a Lamborghini." His friend's shriek was so high-pitched that it nearly ruptured Darien's eardrums, and he had to move the phone away from his ear. "Remember that I didn't actually run her over? I almost did." Thinking about the fact that he'd been on the verge of killing the girl filled him with an odd feeling that he didn't quite know how to describe. "And yes, that's Samantha." "I can't believe it, you little rascal. Even when things like this happen, you're lucky." And then Rick asked, "Have you slept with her yet?" The millionaire stared at the young woman again. She still was ruminating about something, and it didn't look like she'd be out of her thoughtful stupor anytime soon. He would even go as far as to say that if an elephant were to show up at his mansion and destroy every room, one by one, Samantha would remain as she was, quiet and pensive. "What are you saying to me?" Darien half whispered, half exclaimed, a bit surprised. "I'm following your advice to the T, and I'm treating her as well as I can. But sex isn't a part of the equation. You know that if I sneak her into my bed, the situation would get messy afterwards, and then more problems would arrive. Don't forget that the launching of my program comes first, and also, I should be at the company right now instead of vacationing." "You've never even gone on a vacation." Rick was right, but Darien's compulsion to make money didn't allow him to rest. "You're a chronic workaholic. Besides, the boys are developing your new ideas, and the publicity for your invention is going full steam ahead. Everyone is waiting for its release, because we've spread the rumor that NASA has acquired a similar program from us to prepare for men's landing on Mars, although theirs is more complex." Faced with these arguments, Darien was forced to take a deep breath in and calm down. If you analyze it from the right perspective, the possibility of you sleeping with that girl would have a positive outcome. You'd drive her mad for you, she'd eat out of your hand, and you'd keep her distracted. A month goes by, and she wouldn't be a problem for the company anymore. "Have you ever seen me going out with the same girl for a month?" The millionaire's tone was skeptical because his need to get rid of every woman he'd hooked up with and find another victim for his schemes was similar to that of an arsonist wanting to start another fire. "And why didn't you tell me before that I could fuck her?" "Because I didn't know that she was hot," Rick pointed out swiftly. "You're my friend, and I'd never force you to sleep around with a girl that's as ugly as sin." Darien chuckled, because Richard never failed to entertain him. "Still, you could have suggested it to me earlier," he scolded the lawyer as soon as he was able to stop laughing. "What's the difference between then and now?" the attorney questioned him, intrigued. "The difference is that I'm helping her hook up with her best friend." Darien summed up the story. "She's been in love with him for years. We posted the photo to make him jealous, and it seems like it worked." "And since when has a boyfriend or a potential one stopped you?" It was his friend's turn to snicker. "If I'm honest, I'd gladly have my way with her between the sheets." The millionaire observed her curves and came to the conclusion that indeed it would be a delight to sink into her body, with the same passion of a diver submerging into a new sea. "It wouldn't be a problem. She's pretty and quiet and doesn't bother me like the rest." but she's too hung up on the man she's in love with. And you, the king of eroticism, accept that some random guy is winning over the attention of the woman you want? Rick sounded bewildered. I can't believe what I'm hearing. Darien felt offended by the comment, which he considered a negative critique of his manhood. Don't you make fun of me. You know that, if I wanted to, I'd have her in my bed in no time, the businessman boasted. Well, let's put that statement to the test. You and I haven't had a challenge like this since high school. Richard dared him. I bet you won't be able to fuck her during any of the next 7 days. If you're so full of doubts, it's because you find that girl difficult to handle, and that works to my advantage. Done. Darien accepted and then, with a contemplative face, asked, And what's the prize? If I win, I'll keep your Lamborghini and the brunette, the lawyer answered without missing a beat. The Lamborghini is wrecked, and the brunette will soon fall into your arms like ripe fruit, he reminded his friend, in an attempt to be magnanimous. I don't care, I'm beyond satisfied with both things, Rick insisted, not letting go of his interest. All right, I agree with the bet. But there's one condition that I want to add. You can only fuck her, Darien said contemptuously. We met once and she was already sending me dirty messages. Relax. All I want is for her to send dirty stuff to me instead of doing them to you. And then came the follow-up question. If you win, what do you want? The little beach house your grandfather left you when he died. Darien moved his head up and down. You always complain about the leaks, and you never visit it or leave it in a good condition. That old shack? Richard's surprise was evident. It's worthless, or at most $100,000. But I love it. I don't care about the money. And with some sort of deep emotion in his voice, he explained. That place reminds me of the small town in Australia where I was born. Done, Rick exclaimed. We've sealed the deal. All that's left now is for you to do your thing. Although I think it'll be harder for you this time. Samantha has a very innocent face, and I wouldn't be surprised if she was a virgin. Remember, you only have 1 week to bewitch her. I can already see myself winning. Innocent? Darien cackled so hard he nearly wheezed, as if the man on the other side of the line had told him the funniest joke of all time. She likes hip-hop and does parkour. Who could spend all day on the streets and be innocent? You're wrong anyway, Richard replied. You're letting yourself be influenced by what she does and not by who she is. I know that I'm not wrong. After saying this, the millionaire realized that they hadn't set up any rules. One question. Do we consider travel and the use of any amount of money to woo her valid? Or do we come up with a limit of how much we can spend? You know that my resources are endless. My instinct tells me that for once you'll need all of them, Darien. So in this case, I'm giving you total freedom to do as you like. The lawyer laughed at him. Go ahead then. And in a presumptuous tone, he added, I will inform you of any progress I make, so start organizing the formalities to put the deed of ownership to my name. The challenge begins. And Darien immediately set to work to win Samantha over. He decided to use his wit, his masculine charm, and all of his seduction resources to successfully complete the task, without, of course, being direct about it. He didn't want to quite literally ask her to sleep with him, as he did with all the other girls. Since she was in love with Lanky, he had to be very subtle with his sayings and actions, slowly making her want him more and more. He decided that, with Samantha, he would use the little bird strategy, pecking at her little by little. A seemingly innocent hand here. A compliment there. He remembered how much the brunette's video had made an impression on him, and how it had caused him to smash his car into the sign and then get slammed right into a tree. So, being the copycat that he was, Darien thought of doing something like her. Upon noticing that he had Samantha's full attention, he got undressed in front of her, knowing that his physique was impressive and that it would make her eyes pop out of their sockets. Then, he used the shower trick. She trusted the environment and him, and believed that there was no danger, nor a chance of seeing his cucumber out. But when he entered the stall, the interior light turned on, and she suddenly had a panoramic view of his masculine attributes and their every movement. He lathered himself up slowly and touched his skin in a sensual manner, intending to awaken the same eroticism denied by Samantha's friend inside of her, since that idiotic moron of hers preferred the company of his unbearable girlfriend, who was undoubtedly cheating on him. Darien also opened up a very luxurious shower gel that, according to the advertisement, contained pheromones, an ingredient that made any man who used the product utterly irresistible. He rubbed his buttocks meticulously and took his time gently caressing his legs, his chest, and his back. He spent so much time under the stream that the fingers of his hand and the toes of his feet turned pruny. The climax of this charade came when, at the end of the shower, more than cleaning his sausage, he began jerking off. Once he made sure that it was hard, he stopped touching it and put an end to the erection, knowing that he shouldn't overdo it either. After he was done, he wrapped a tiny towel around his hips, making it seem as if the cloth was about to fall off, and walked out of the stall, drying up his hair with a considerably bigger towel. As Darien moved, he looked at the little mouse. She was red as a pomegranate. Understandable, since she hadn't taken her eyes off him for a single moment. Judging by the colors and the guilt on her face, Darien wouldn't need the 7 days he had bet on with Rick at all. Still, he played the role of a fool, pretending he hadn't noticed the way she was overheating, and explained, "You know, Samantha, an opportunity to enter a difficult-to-access profession, such as modeling, shouldn't be easily dismissed. You will regret turning it down without trying it first. Do you realize that getting a chance like this is the same as winning the lottery?" Darien tried to speak naturally, without resorting to any sort of double entendre, although he was sure that she wasn't thinking only about the job Max had offered her, but also about the unique possibility of hooking up with him. The millionaire wanted to burst out laughing because of how tense she looked. Her teeth seemed like they were going to chatter at any moment from clenching her jaw so hard. He decided that for now he had gone too far. Darien was content with having ignited that much heat in her crotch. He had achieved his goal, because he had shown her what a magnificent body existed underneath his clothes, and had sent the girl the subliminal message to use it at her will and forget about Lanky. "Well, Samantha, now it's better if you leave the room and let me get dressed up." Darien faked modesty. "I wouldn't like it for you to see me naked." It was difficult for him to keep his laughter under control, but at the moment, it very was necessary for him to play dumb. Yeah, of course." And with that, she left the room like the devil was chasing after her. The millionaire heard the bathroom door close, as well as the bedrooms, and couldn't keep his cackles under control anymore. It had been such a long time since he'd had this much fun with a woman. After laughing for 10 or more minutes, he felt a little remorseful. Maybe Samantha still was disoriented by the accident. "Have I been a jerk to her?" was an unusual thought for him, since he usually didn't care about other people. "No way," he said to himself, convinced. "I've looked after her in the hospital and I treat her like a queen here at home. Plus, I've bought her the best clothes and the most exclusive accessories that money can buy. Why should I feel guilty? Once he was properly dressed up, he decided to go find her. It wasn't hard. She was in the small living room of the suite, half sitting, half curled up on the sofa, looking at her phone with an annoyed look on her face. "What's wrong?" Darien asked, taking a seat by her side. The young woman sniffed the air around him and confessed, "Your perfume smells great." "I'm glad you like it." The comment confirmed that he was on the right track, because before the shower, Samantha hadn't noticed that about him. "Are you okay? I know that something's up with you. Is something bothering you?" "Adrian." She wrinkled her nose and looked like a little mouse sniffing a slice of cheese. "He wants to meet up and sort things out." "Congratulations! The photo was effective." Darien clapped his hands because deep down he was happy for her, even as he quickly thought about ways to use this situation to his advantage and win the bet with Rick. "And what did you say to him?" "No, don't congratulate me." She stared at the millionaire so hard that her gaze nearly burned holes through his head and turned bright red, perhaps remembering with nostalgia how Darien's hands ran over his naked body while he cleaned himself up in the shower. "He wants to sort things out between all three of us. Karen is going to be there too." Samantha was finding it impossible to contain her anger, and thanks to the opportunities that Lanky was providing to him, his companion knew exactly how to hit the final blow and get her into his bed with little to no effort. "Let me think." He pretended to examine the whole ordeal in head for a second. "I believe that we can give your friend plenty to think about," he said, purposely being enigmatic and unclear. "Yeah?" she asked, skeptical. "I can't figure out how, though." "Well, you're lucky because I already have, Samantha." Darien slid his hand over her shoulder and suddenly their bodies pressed against each other. "I'll tell you what we'll do,"